So today, 7.4, and for those people following along at home because they decided not to come to school today, this is on page number
17.
Thank you, 17. There we go. Okay. So, page number 17. I know we're all there and no one is on their laptop right now because no one would do that to me because the laptop is distracting for me. I don't know why. It's distracting. Okay? So, I'm just hoping those are away, right? For some reason, those are away. All right, so linear inequalities. So that means it's not equal to. Not equal to. I'm going to go through and there's a whole bunch of blah, blah, blah. Then I'm going to explain that I want you guys to write down in your own words. That's how we're going to do this definition today. So, all right. Standard form. This is standard form. Standard form like this. AX plus BY equals C. Now, remember back in the day, like elementary school, and you say, the alligator eats which one?
Yes.
The alligator eats the bigger number, right? So when you have your thingies there, and you say, hey, the alligator eats the bigger number. Bruh. Do you know what's also important? Yes.
Discrete mathematics.
Thank you. Right there? You mean on those notes? Like on those notes. Thank you. All right. So alligator eats the bigger, right? So whichever side is opening up to is alligator is going to be eating that one. Let's take a look. So we have this one's going to be greater than, less than. Now greater than or equal to. That's important. Or equal to, and then less than equal to. There we go. All right. So we take linear inequality to variables in this format right here. So now, think about this. What this says right here in an inequality. I have some value for x. I have some value for y. I add those two values together, and it has to be less than 2. So, when I do that, those two values being added together has to be less than 2. So now, what could those values together add up to be? It could be 1, right? Say yes. Okay, it could be 1. Okay, is there anything else that's less than that it could be? It could be 0, can it? So it could be 1, it could be 0, it could be -1. So there is correct answers. There's more than one correct answer. There's a series of numbers. So starting at 1 and going down. Those are all my answers that would be true for this. Okay? That's important to understand. So those two numbers together would be those answers. And that's what I'm trying to get to here. That's what I'm doing with the inequality. So I'm going to have not just one answer for each one. I'm going to have a series, a whole bunch of these answers. Okay, now right here, a solution of an inequality in two variables, x and y, blah, 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 obtain a true statement. So, in basic words, I'm going to show you how to do it, and you're like, oh, hey, that does make more sense. Because not everyone speaks Mathanese. Graph it. We'll do that here in a second. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, the better way of doing this is actually showing you how to do this. Showing you how to do this. And now, I have a single linear inequality here, right? Before we've been dealing with two equalities. Now we're dealing with a single, one-line inequality. So what I'm going to do to graph this is I'm going to take and I'm going to say x and y, because this is in my standard form. This is my standard form, and I go like this. I'm going to plug in 0 for x, and then I'm going to plug in 0 for y. Zero for x, then 0 for y. There we go. Okay. So let's go through and plug this in. So now it's going to be 3, and I'm replacing x with 0. Minus 5y is going to be greater than equal to 15. Yes. Okay, good. Now, anything times 0 is So that's going to go away. So I have negative 5y is greater than equal to 15. And I got to try and still get my y by itself. So what's going to happen to get my y by itself? Divide by negative 5. So this is going to be key here. Divide both sides by negative 5. But whenever I do this, so I'm going to the next page to write down this rule. So when you multiply or divide by a negative, you need to, what do you got to do when you divide? Anyone recall? Flip the sign. So we're going to flip the sign. So it's going to go from that greater than that we had to a less than. When? Whenever we multiply or divide by a negative. Every time we've got to flip the sign. All right, let's go back. So I divided by negative 5, so that's going to give me y is going to be less than equal to negative 3. There we go. So I'm going to put my negative 3 right here. Jess? Good. Now I got to do this again. I got to do this again because this time I need to plug in my y value for 0. So it's going to be 3x minus 5 times 0 is greater than equal to 15. All right, anything times 0? 0. So I'm going to get rid of that, right? So I'm going to just have 3x is greater than equal to 15. Now what am I doing? Divided by 3. Okay. So I get x is going to be, there you go, greater than equal to 5. Did I have to flip the sign here? No, because it's not negative. I don't have to flip the sign. So I'm going to put a Cinco over here. All right, so I have my points. I have my points. Here's my 2 points. 0, negative 3, and 5, 0. Zero, negative 3. And 5, 0. And between those 2 points, what do I do? Draw a line. So I made sure you guys actually had a graph on these ones. Come on, come on. Now, next thing, the type of line. The type of line. So, we say if it is equal, then solid line. So, is this equation equal here? Let's go back and look at it. It says 3 minus 5y is greater than or equal to. So is this one equal to? is equal, right? Because it's or equal to. So now that gets a solid line. Otherwise, dotted. So we will have a dotted line eventually. If you don't have a equal sign underneath that symbol, it's going to be a dotted line. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is called a test point. So graphing this by hand is super easy. Okay, we're going to do a test point. There we go. So test point. So we're going to figure out, because this is an inequality, that means that it is not just the one solution. Remember, like when we're talking about, it's going to have answers more than one. More than one, a bunch of solutions for this. So when I said it was x plus y was less than 2, my answer could have been 1, it could have been 0, it could have been -1. So I'm going to have a whole bunch of numbers that it can be. So I'm going to test a point. What I always like doing, I like testing zeros. Zeros make my math easy. If you plug in this point right here, and if you test it, if it's true, then guess what? This all works above the line. If it's false, if it doesn't work, then it's all below the line. Okay? So you're just going to pick a test point, and I highly recommend that you don't sleep through this part, because your test point, you want to try and plug in zeros to make your life easier. So I'm going to use the test point 0, 0 here. So I'm testing that point 0, 0. So let's see, 3 times 0 minus 5 times 0, is that going to be greater than or equal to 15? This is why I like using zeros, because it makes the math really easy. So 3 times 0 is? 0. Minus 5 times 0? 0. So 0 and 0, is that greater than or equal to 15? No. So guess what? This one's a no, right? So that means this point right here doesn't work, but that means everything below the line is going to work. So everything below the line will work here. So all this here will work now. Does that make sense? Hopefully? Yes.
Why not the top part?
Okay, did this one, so if this was yes, if this was true, let's say for instance the symbol went the other way. If this said, hey, is this less than or equal to 15? You look at it and say, would 0 be less than or equal to 15? Is 0 less than 15? Yes, it is. So that would be true. And so because that would be true, everything above the line would work. So you would shade everything above it. All right? Now, we're going to do this in the calculator. And so again, calculator steps, same thing that we've been doing. So this is going to be another relation. So I'm going to go to my scratch pad, and let's go ahead and start a new one here. So I'm going to go doc B to clear it off so I can start new. Scratch pad. And do I want a function? I don't want a function. So let's change it to a relation. And just enter it as is, right, Dougie? We're entering it as is. So that was 3x minus 5y. Now, the next part is going to be tricky, and this is what I want you guys making sure you guys know. We normally use an equal sign here, right? But I don't want an equal sign. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit Control equal. Control equal is going to give you the little symbols that you need. So there, I hit Control equal, and it comes up the box of everything I could use here for my inequalities. Okay? So now, I'm going to pick the correct symbol, and then my number 15. Hit enter. Hey, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. That's beauty, eh? Yeah. Look at that. That's great. See? That's like magic right there. It is. Do you believe in magic? No? All right. Okay. So it's the same thing we had, you notice, and if you want to test to see also what side of the line it's supposed to be shaded, if you shaded it correctly, this would be another way of doing it here. All right, does this make your life easier? All right, so I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually stop right here, and then I'm going to let you guys start working on the homework, and I'm going to show you where to start on the homework. Okay, so make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification button and support my channel. Buy stuff from my merch store. Okay. Huh? Yeah. Have you ever watched the videos? Oh, that's why. Huh? Really?